We know from Israeli police that he is a resident of East Jerusalem. He's relatively young, just 26, and he has no prior criminal record. Now, it may sound surprising that someone with no criminal record would then, pick up a gun and go on a firing spree. But unfortunately, in the last number of years, we've seen more and more of what now have been dubbed lone wolf attackers. That is, young Palestinians who take matters into their own hands, take arms, and carry out attacks. And they're not necessarily connected. They're not connected usually to any kind of militant group. The man the attacker who carried this out, essentially turned himself in about 6.5 hours after the attack. There was huge manhunt in Jerusalem for him. Police say he took a cab directly to the police station and turned himself in. We will wait to see what other details come out, but he fits the profile of attackers that we've seen over the last number of years that don't necessarily come from the disputed West Bank.
And what more do we know about the victims?
So there are 8 people that were injured in this attack. Really, the headline now is that the U.S. Embassy has confirmed that some of the victims are indeed U.S. citizens. We don't know how many of them. We have heard from the ambassador, Tom Nides, who tweeted that he is very sad about what happened and that he has talked to some of the families, but we don't have details yet. Israeli media had reported that among the injured were a family of Americans, tourists, 4 people, and that one of the most seriously injured, who had brain bullets to his head and neck, and he was the most seriously wounded, was the father of that family. But that part has not been confirmed. We're going to have to wait, of course, for privacy issues, U.S. officials waiting to release any information.
Yeah, and Jordana, that's coming at a very delicate time, a week after a 3-day conflict between Israel and Islamic Jihad militants.
That's right. I mean, often we see kind of what we could call spillover violence after a major conflict in Gaza between Israel and militants, and that could be one of the reasons that motivated this shooter. But we don't know for sure. We haven't heard any statements from him or from his family or his lawyers. We don't know if this is connected or not. But again, it's not uncommon that there's spillover fighting. Remember that operation only ended a week ago, and there were almost 50 Palestinians killed, among them 17 children. Even though Israel disputes killing some of those civilians, this is still a high toll for less than 3 days of fighting.